We always think of vitamins as these purely good things, right? They're the little helpers for a healthy life. But what if one of them had a dark side? A tipping point where it goes from helping you to actually hurting you, causing some pretty serious lasting damage. Well, today we're diving into the really strange case of vitamin B6. It's a true hero in our bodies that, in the wrong dose, can turn into a real villain.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a pretty direct question. Can you actually overdose on a vitamin? And I mean a water-soluble one, the kind your body is just supposed to get rid of if you take too much? You'd probably guess the answer is no. But as we're about to find out, the answer is a shocking and a very definitive yes. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down what vitamin B6 is and why we even need it. Then we'll get into all the good stuff, its amazing benefits, before we take a hard left turn into its toxic side. We're going to investigate the super confusing question of dosage, and finally, we'll figure out how to get just the right amount safely. All right, first up, let's get properly introduced to the hero of our story. What exactly is this vitamin that's working so hard for us behind the scenes? So, vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine, if you want to get technical, is an absolute powerhouse. It's a water-soluble vitamin, which just means your body doesn't really store it. And get this, it's involved in more than 100 different enzyme reactions in your body. It has a hand in everything from your metabolism to brain development to how well your immune system fights things off. Point is, you absolutely need it to live. Now let's get to the good stuff. What does B6 actually do for us? Well, it's not just some boring background player. It has some genuinely cool and vital roles. And one of them, well, it's gonna surprise you. No, you heard that right. Before we even get to the heavy-hitting health benefits, listen to this. There's actual scientific evidence suggesting that vitamin B6 can make your dreams more vivid and way easier to remember. How wild is that? And this isn't just some random theory. A 2018 study, a proper randomized double-blind one, backed this up. They found that people taking B6 before bed remembered significantly more of their dreams. It's just a fascinating little window into how this vitamin can even influence our subconscious. But as cool as dream recall is, its job in our waking life is even more critical. B6 helps create things like serotonin, the neurotransmitter that keeps your mood stable. It's essential for making the hemoglobin that carries oxygen in your blood. It helps form the protective coating around your nerves and keeps your immune system ready to go. It's a serious multitasker. And here is where our story takes a huge, dramatic turn. After seeing all that good, we have to talk about the paradox, the danger that comes not from having too little, but from having way too much. And it almost always comes from one place: supplements. I mean, it's a classic saying for a reason, right? And it really, really applies here. With vitamin B6, that line between helpful and harmful is a lot thinner than most of us think. And crossing it doesn't just, give you a tummy ache. It can lead to some truly devastating problems. The medical name for it is megavitamin B6 syndrome. It's a toxicity condition, and its main target is your nerves. Basically, when you flood your system with these huge doses from supplements, your body can't process it all. And the leftover B6 can directly damage the delicate endings of your sensory nerves. It messes up the communication between your brain and your body. And the symptoms are, well, they're terrifying. It often starts as numbness or a weird tingling, burning feeling in your hands and feet. From there, it can get worse, leading to an unsteady walk, that's called ataxia, and even painful skin problems. Your body basically starts to lose its sense of where it is in space. So the big question is, how much is too much? You'd probably think it takes some ridiculously huge obvious overdose, right? Well, look at this number. According to the science, nerve damage has actually been reported in people taking as little as 24 milligrams a day over time. Just keep that number in mind, because we're about to see how close that is to what you find in some common supplements. And this brings us to the most confusing, most frustrating part of this whole thing. If 24 milligrams can be toxic for some people, then what's the official, safe upper limit? Well, it turns out nobody can agree. The world's health experts are completely divided. This chart just shows you how wild the disagreement is. Look at that tiny little bar on the left. That's all you actually need per day, just 1.5 milligrams. Okay, now look at the EU's upper limit, 12 milligrams. And then look at the US limit. It's a towering 100 milligrams.
That is a massive, nearly 10 times difference in what's considered safe. And it's not just the US and the EU. As you can see, the advice is all over the map. The UK is even more careful than the rest of Europe, setting the bar at 10 milligrams. Australia is somewhere in the middle at 50 milligrams. This isn't some minor scientific debate. It's a huge global gap in safety advice that leaves regular people like us totally confused. So, with all this confusion, how in the world are we supposed to get the B6 we need without putting ourselves at risk? Well, thankfully, the answer is actually incredibly simple. And there it is. That's a direct quote from the National Institutes of Health, and it is the single most important takeaway from this whole explainer. This toxicity problem is a supplement problem, not a food problem. There are literally no reports of anyone getting B6 toxicity just from what they eat. So the solution, the safe way through this whole paradox, is to trust your plate, not a pill. See, unlike those isolated, high-dose supplements, whole foods give you vitamins in a balanced way, with all the other nutrients your body needs to use them correctly and safely. And getting enough B6 from food is really easy and delicious. We're talking about things like salmon and tuna, chickpeas, chicken, potatoes, bananas, avocados. A good varied diet full of foods like these will easily get you the 1.5 milligrams you need without ever getting close to the danger zone. So, we'll end on this thought. The story of vitamin B6 isn't about being scared of vitamins. It's a huge reminder to respect them. And it's a reason to look past the flashy marketing and ask a really important question. After this, go check the label on your multivitamin or B-complex supplement. You might be really surprised and maybe a little concerned by just how much B6 is in there. Do you really know what's in your supplements?